Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is my very good friend, Jessica Gonzalez, and I wanted to have her here to have a great conversation with me. This is the very beginning of 2026, and I am really excited to talk to her today, and I'm really excited for you guys to talk to her today. I have a very special sneak peek of my wellness roadmap, which is something I've never shared before, and it's what I am going to be sharing throughout 2026. And this is something that is for my private clients, and I've never, like I said, shared this before, so I'm a little nervous. But I've only shared it with private clients, and I'm going to be sharing it in the membership more. And let me show you guys what this looks like. I'm going to share my screen. Here is the wellness roadmap, everybody. And this is what I developed for myself when I was very, very sick, as all of you know. And I share pretty candidly that I have chronic illness and a myriad of different chronic illnesses. And this is what I use to help get myself well, and I developed for myself. And this I use to customize around what everyone else needs and help them get themselves well and help really move into wellness and what it means to you and how we can help achieve your dreams. And as you know, earlier this year, I did a 5-day vision and goals challenge, which you can find now in the classroom. But Jessica and I are going to talk about what this roadmap meant to her and how she kind of went through it in her own life. If you want to screenshot it or take a look at it, you can rewind, but I'm going to stop the share, and her and I are just going to have a candid conversation. So let's turn it over to Jess.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
I'm Jessica. I've known Alyssa since we were toddlers, probably.
Yeah, we actually grew up together. We were brownies together, which is for all of you Gen Z and Gen Alphas, that's before Girl Scouts, pre-Girl Scouts.
Before Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
Before the cookies.
Pre-cookies. I don't know do they still have brownies?
I don't know.
I don't know if they still do them. We never got to the cookies. We never made it to the Girl Scouts.
I did.
Did you? I never made it. They kicked me out. I was too much of a troublemaker. Her mom was actually our brownie leader.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was always in trouble. I think I always got you in trouble. That was the problem. We ditched a lot. We would like to just go play in the mud over in the, there was like a little creek. I was always getting her to go play with me over there. I didn't follow rules very well. I still don't.
Yeah.
We grew up in the same little teeny town, which we still live in in Colorado mountains. But yeah, we've known each other our whole lives, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then we lost touch for many years when I went away for college and all my adventures abroad. And then we ran into each other at breakfast. And like most people do, they say, hey, give me a call, we'll see each other, and never call, but she actually did. She called me and we got back in touch, which has been so wonderful.
Yeah, it was fun. We got to go have breakfast ourselves.
Yeah.
Reconnect.
Which has been so great.
And then come back to church and connect over that too.
Yeah. Well, you invited me to your birthday party, which is amazing. She has the best birthday parties ever because she has this incredible property in this backyard.
It's been fun.
It's been really fun.
Love the birthday party. It's the only summer birthday we have, so
yes,
we have to go big.
We do, and they're great.
Because we live in this small wintry town.
Yes.
And winter is not, it's fun. But for birthdays...
For some people. I'm not a big fan of winter.
Yet she's still here.
Yeah. Yet I still live here and can never leave. They always say there's a curse in this town. We live under this beautiful mountain, and they say if you ever live under this mountain, you'll always return to it. Mm-hmm. That's the curse. I believe it.
Oh, yeah.
I've been to some beautiful places, and I'm still here.
Still here. Yeah. So, still here in the small town. but I love it. And winters are beautiful.
They are beautiful. They are definitely beautiful. Unfortunately, my knees they're gone. I can't do any of the winter sports anymore.
Yeah.
That's the problem with my winter, and I don't like the cold. I'm a summer girl.
Yeah. I can do either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were looking at that wellness map, what came to you?
Well, the first one, defining your vision and goals. About almost 4 years ago, my husband was in an explosion.
Yeah.
So I became his full-time caregiver. We had just gotten back from Florida. We went to a vision and goal setting workshop, and we were on the same page with our goals. Like, we had individual goals, but we were on the same page of how we were going to get there. And we got back Saturday. Thursday is when the explosion happened.
Which is so scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My life completely changed after that.
In a moment. I mean, just in a really terrifying moment.
He was flown to Denver, which is about 3 hours from here. And that whole night, he told me not to come that night. It was winter. It was February. And so the whole night, I just was grieving the future I thought I had. So I kind of had to redefine what those goals would look like, because it wasn't going to be the same. We were in the hospital for almost 2 months. 1 month in Denver and 1 month in Aspen.
Wow.
And throughout that time, we got closer. We really did, because I was his full-time caregiver, even though he was in the hospital. Anytime that the nurses were gone, it was me.
Right.
He broke both of his legs, so anytime he was uncomfortable, I'm helping him. I'm lifting his legs, putting him where he was more comfortable.
And it was such a blessing that, when you say he was in an explosion, it's a blessing that he didn't lose his life, and that's one of those things that, when we speak of chronic illness, it's something that, and I want to make this very clear to the audience, that anything can happen in a blink of an eye. Breaking both your legs is terrifying. And being an explosion, something that happened to her husband, this is something that it has impacted their lives significantly, because this is something that now he's dealing with to this day and will continue to deal with. And thank God above that he didn't lose his life. But the pain that goes along with it is something that can happen to anybody. I'm sorry to interrupt your story, but I do want to say, in my book I write about this, to give anyone's perspective, because it's difficult to imagine. I challenge everyone to tape 2 fingers down to their hand like this. Take a little bit of medical tape and go a day with your fingers taped down and see what happens throughout your day. It's just a day challenge. See if you're embarrassed. See how difficult it is to hold your phone, to drive, to go to the grocery store. And think about the possibility of just losing a finger, like getting smashed in your car door, of something easy. It can happen to any of us. Losing a finger, losing a limb, unfortunately, it can happen. And so can developing a chronic illness. And that's something that it might put this story in a little bit more perspective. Please continue.
Yeah, we have 2 kids at home. Right now, they're almost 15 and almost 9.
It's crazy.
So we were away from them for 2 months.
Oh.
So it was not just hard for us, but it was hard for the kids too.
Yeah.
But he was in a wheelchair for 9 months. So when you're talking about your 2-finger challenge, like he couldn't walk for
Right.
9 months.
And your house was not prepared for that.
It was being prepared for that. We had people from, he worked in construction, and that's where the explosion happened. So he had people come to the house and redo some things in the house so that it would be wheelchair accessible. But they did the wheelchair ramp, they paved it, and when he came back from the hospital, the pavement was still wet.
Oh, gosh.
So we couldn't get him in the house until after that. We didn't know how we were going to get him in the house
Yeah.
because we've got stairs up and down. Doesn't matter which way you go. So that was a bit of a challenge, but it all worked out. When he finally came home, the toilet was not on as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes from a plumbing background. He was a plumber for 8 years. So
I'm only smiling because I know her husband so well, so I can just imagine. I'm hearing his voice in my head. That's the only reason I'm smiling and laughing. I'm sorry.
he, while in his wheelchair, finished the plumbing that needed to be done.
Wow.
And I lifted the toilet on, got it all situated.
Wow.
So, while I'm very grateful for everybody who helped, we definitely had to finish some things in there. But it all worked out.
Which just shows the strength of spirit that you have and he has, you know.
Yeah, and it's been a journey the
It
last 4 years because it hasn't been all unicorns and rainbows.
No.
You know, we
Absolutely
were
not.
definitely in a positive mindset going into it, and I think I'm so grateful for that workshop that we did because we were in such a good mindset. And while he was in the hospital, we continued with that. He did have moments of like, he was just angry, but he would get through them pretty quickly. You know, but he also has some trauma from that too, where is this reality?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
as his caregiver and wife, I have to take a step back because he's gone through a lot of trauma. And I don't know what he's gone through. I only know what I've gone through, and I can see from the outside. But over the years, the anger, he's had bouts of anger that have lasted longer than hours,
Right.
you know? So, but then he always comes back to being positive. So, it's been a challenge for me and the kids to kind of navigate that. Because he's always going to be in pain, no matter what he does. He's had 17 surgeries, and that was just in the first 2 years.
Which is hard to wrap your head around. 17 is a huge number.
Yeah. There's, I think, 3 or 4 in Denver, the rest of them in Aspen.
And that's, I mean, just the amount of trauma that your body goes through by going under anesthesia, not alone the trauma your body goes through being cut open. You know, just going under to get anything done has a significant amount of trauma on your body. I don't know if you've read this book, and I suggest it for anyone that's going through anything or caregivers. but it's titled "The Body Keeps the Score," and it's all about muscle memory, and your body holds on to that muscle memory. If you've seen any professional athlete, right? They just do the same movement, a pitcher. They just do the same movement over and over and over and over again until they can do it in their sleep. And that muscle memory remains in you forever.
Yeah.
I remember when I was going through physical therapy for my ACL, and they put me on the Pilates machine, and I just immediately, because of muscle memory, I was a ballerina growing up, put myself in the ballerina stance. And my physical therapist goes, "You were a dancer." I go, "How can you tell?" And she goes, "Only dancers can handle this machine immediately."
Yep.
And that was over 20 years ago. And so, yeah, your body does keep the score. Your muscle memory really holds on. And those memories are in there.
Yeah. And he had an infection after every one of them. He was on a PICC line twice.
Ooh.
So he had to carry his antibiotics 24/7 at one point. And the other one, it was like 3 times a day we would inject him with this needle about that big. But
And that affected you as a caregiver, because you're the one that had to do this.
mm-hmm.
So this will also cause you trauma, because you're the one that had to put that needle in.
Well, and it wasn't necessarily a needle. It was like this line that would come. It was from his heart, and it was coming out his arm, right? So you'd kind of screw it on and then inject it. But what happened after that is it kills all the bacteria, right? So when it kills all the bacteria, it still kills the good bacteria too.
Right, so it kills your whole microbiome in your belly.
He's had a lot of issues with his skin after that. So like the scalp and breaking out. Like he's been breaking out ever since, and he's never been the same.
pH balance on your skin changes, your microbiome in your belly changes. A lot of people don't know this, but the microbiome in your belly, we actually carry, we're just kind of hosts for the bacteria that lives inside of us and on us. The skin is an organ. People don't know that. It's actually the largest organ of the body. And we don't think of the skin as an organ, but it really needs to be protected. And the pH balance of your skin is so important. You can get a yeast infection of your skin, things like that, and people's skin are so sensitive. I'm one of those people too. I can get a moonburn. I know, I'm so she laughs at me all the time. I literally, because I have vitamin D deficiency, and my skin is so sensitive that I have to wear so much sunscreen. But if it's a full moon, I can get a sunburn. It's bad.
That's crazy.
I know, I have to wear sunscreen at night. It's bad. And I know. It always reminds me of that Sunglasses at Night song.
I don't think I know.
Oh, it's an oldie. I mean, pre-our time oldie. But yeah, so poor thing. I mean, his stomach too, I'm sure, was really sensitive and went through a bunch of changes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And having a sedentary lifestyle now, he used to be so active, but not being active anymore, he now has developed diabetes. So,
Whole new challenge.
just another challenge, yeah. So we're working through that too. And who knows what's going to happen there, but he'll have to have new knees in the future. Hopefully later rather than sooner, but just depends on how they're handling the weight right now.
Which is scary because that's more surgeries.
Yeah. And that's the last thing he wants, is to go back under the knife.
Absolutely. Because of everything that's already happened, I'm sure the trauma there is very terrifying. And for you as well,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, as a caregiver, what are you doing to make sure that your cup is being refilled? You know, as a mom, as a caregiver, as a woman, as all these things, how are you making sure that you're not running on fumes every day?
God, number one. I spend time with God a lot, and I also I serve a lot at the church.
You do.
And it fills my cup to serve at the church. It really does. But also, just after our talk yesterday, I went home and I was in silence a lot ever since, because it is important to recharge, right? And for me, recharging is not having anything else going on.
Yeah.
And getting into my mind, talking with God, and figuring out what the next steps are. Because, God's the only one that knows everything we've been through.
Sure.
And he knows how to get us to the next step.
Right. And you survived every worst day you've ever had, which I think is amazing, right?
Oh, yeah.
You've made it through, and you're the definition of a warrior, I think, in my mind. I mean, you truly are. And I think that it's so wonderful that you've handled things with such beautiful grace and have survived so much. And you're such an incredible role model for your kids. She's got the best kids. I love her kids. Did I tell you that your son came and gave me a hug the other day?
Oh, did he?
On his own.
That's
I
surprising.
know. I was like, this little boy is so cool.
He rarely gives anybody a hug.
I know. But he's coming out of his shell. He's so cool. And her daughter is just amazing. And
She is amazing.
she is amazing. And it's just impressive to me how well you have handled and held yourself. And, you know, all of us have a different, love language. And when you only speak your love language, things get miscommunicated. I don't know if you've ever read that book, The 5 Love Languages or whatever. But your love language is generosity and ability to serve. And I love that about you. And I think it's incredible. My love languages are, I love to give things. Gifts are just my thing. I love giving people things and generosity. But, I also love to serve in that generosity thing. But when you only speak that one language, things get miscommunicated, right?
Yeah.
And when we were talking yesterday, I asked her this same question, like, how are you filling your cup? Are you actually celebrating your wins? And one thing that we were talking about is how millennials, I wasn't sure who the creator was, but it was somebody on Instagram was saying that millennials, we're the generation of servers. We were taught to work harder, and if things aren't working out, just keep working harder and make sure that we are like seen but not heard, and just keep giving and giving and giving. And it really resonated with me. And I asked her if it resonated with her, and she's like, well, yeah, actually, that does kind of ring true to me. Even though a lot of the promises that we were told didn't work out for us, like you go to high school, then you go to college, and then after college you get a job, and then you work that job for 30 years, and then you'll be able to retire, and you have, you buy a house, and then you get married, and you have the kids, and none of that's really working out for our generation. And now a lot of us are pivoting into entrepreneurship and doing all these other things, and she's done it, and I'm doing it, and it's just this very interesting thing that a lot of millennials are doing. And we're kind of not serving anymore. We're trying to serve ourselves and find this new identity, right? Mm-hmm. But none of us are really celebrating any of that. And so I asked her, how do you celebrate your wins? How do you, do you celebrate anything? Because I remember when I wrote my book and I hit publish, I didn't celebrate that. I just kind of was like, okay, what do I do now? What's the next thing? And so I challenged her to every day really state what were my wins today, and stop and take a second. And out loud or in her journal or whatever, in her head, stop and say, okay, I did this, 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 and this. And those were big wins or little wins. I didn't stab my husband today. I didn't, I didn't do this. I filled the car with gas. That's a win. It's some people, that's a big win. That's a win for me sometimes, because I'm not going to lie. I don't fill my car with gas as often as I should. These are wins. These are big things. These are big deals.
Yeah.
I ate healthy food today. I didn't just eat sugar.
Yeah.
I quit.
It's huge.
Yeah. Sometimes quitting things is a big win. Adding things in is a big win. I made my bed. That's a win.
What's funny is my husband made our bed yesterday.
That's amazing.
After we spoke.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was great. And then I cleaned out the fridge. Win. Huge win, because I scrubbed it.
Huge win.
Yeah.
I wish I could scrub my fridge. Unfortunately, I live with other people.
Yeah.
But, these are big wins. And celebrating those small things are a big deal. And it's not about, people talk about how they're going to change their life and how they're going to achieve their goals and their visions. And they want to do it all at once. And sometimes that is not what's going to happen. No. It's not a 180. It's tiny, microscopic centimeter changes that compound over time. And then in 2 years, you look back and you go, wow, I am so glad I followed my values and I am this person now. Mm-hmm. Because this is who I want to be.
It's exactly what I've been doing the past 5 years with my coaching business.
Yeah.
Financial coaching. We talk about interest all the time, exactly. Right? Compound interest and compound habits. They go together.
They go hand in hand, big time. And she is helping me big time with that, because I was an emotional spender for a very long time.
I think our generation got a little bit of that.
Yeah, because shopping and making yourself feel better, instant gratification, is a big deal. And that's a hard thing to break. Mm-hmm. Very hard habit to break. Because you can you can work so hard to save or so hard to accomplish something, and then in a minute, it goes out the window because, you bought yourself something or you did something or whatever.
I think for me, it was like my mom was good with her money, mm-hmm. but every time we went out, she would get us something, right? So now it's like, as an adult, going to the store is like, oh, I want to get myself something because
I deserve a treat. I deserve
it. Always happened. But I didn't learn how she used to save. Plus, the inflation has gone up a lot. So to say, like, am I saving enough? Maybe. Mm-hmm. But every time I go out, do I have to spend? It's a habit. It's a behavior.
Yeah. And
those compound habits, whether you're taking something out or putting something in, they're going to compound, either for good or not.
Right. And that's also where you put in that, am I running on fumes habit? Mm-hmm. Which can be one of those things that you don't notice because you get so used to it, especially as a caregiver, where you're like, but this is normal for me to be so stressed and so tired all the time as a caregiver that's how I run. And you don't, especially I think as a mom or a dad, that you discover that that's just your default. And, not saying that people who aren't parents don't default to that. I'm not a parent other than my fur babies, but I defaulted to that for a long time until I realized, oh, this is killing me, literally. And it's hard.
It is.
Until you have to stop and be like, wait, how can I give back to myself? What makes me truly happy? And that's a rough question, because when I first asked myself that question, what makes me happy, I remember saying to myself, I don't know. I don't know what makes me happy, which is scary. When you go, I don't know what makes me happy. You know, what I did know was what didn't make me happy.
Yeah.
That's a lot easier to answer. What doesn't make me happy?
Well, and that's what I was experiencing yesterday is like, what are the things that are keeping me down in my life right now? That's where the quiet came in. Being quiet, and like I was going through all the things that like drive me crazy and all the things that I'm like not happy about. And then I'm like, okay, now that I got that out of the way,
Yeah.
I can look and be like, and then I have this, 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 and this, and just be grateful. Like God has gifted me with 2 beautiful children.
Yes, he has.
And a husband that loves me to death. Like, seriously, he loves me. I know he does. You know, even with all the things that we struggle with, I feel blessed.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how we can do that. It's such a human thing to do, to be like, I can go to the negative so easily, right? I know you kind of have to. These are the things that I think are hilarious, and you have to laugh at these things. And that's one of the things too that you have to be grateful for and recognize. And that's a challenge too, is to recognize it and laugh. And I love to laugh, and I always find those things funny. I also have a little bit of a dark sense of humor, and I enjoy that about myself. We're so human that you're like, I can only figure out the negative. What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. You're a human. It's great. So write down all the negative stuff first. This is what I don't like. Great.
It's important. It's important to figure out the negative.
Yeah. Now that you got that out of the way, you know everything you don't like.
Because our
What's
minds
left?
will just like go over and over and over with all of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've experienced that.
It's great
But-
that you know what you don't like. That's awesome. Now there's what's left. All right, cool. You know what I love? I love to read. I love reading. I am not outdoorsy at all. I don't like the outdoors. I'm not a hiker. I am not an outdoorsy girl. I'm an outsidey girl. You will find me anytime you want to go have, like, you know, a glass of wine on a patio, this girl. I'm with you. You want to go on a, you know, mile hike? Not your gal. Nope. You want to go on a stroll? This girl. As long as it's, you know, on concrete, I can do that. It can be a mile. It's fine, as long as it's not on dirt.
Yeah.
I think we grew up in such an outdoorsy place that I'm just, like, not into it anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just
I don't
something.
know what it is.
Yeah, outsidey.
Yeah.
I'm very outsidey. I'm not outdoorsy. But, you know, I had to figure that out. I'm like, if I will walk all over, like when I go to Europe or, you know, those kind of places, I will walk all over a city and just explore. You can put me on a bike. I will ride a bike outside and explore a little village. But you put me on a bike out here, I am like whiny McWhinerson, just complaining that we're on a trail and I hate it. Yeah, my friend brought it up when we were in Europe last year. She was like, what is wrong with you? But, you know, you got to figure out what you enjoy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you do. Start with that 1 mile.
Yeah. And if you love the mile when it's, you know, on cobblestones, or there you go. But you just hate it when it's on dirt. That's okay. That is totally fine. Was what makes you uniquely you. And that is what's wonderful. And I love that about you, you know?
Yep.
You just got to figure it out. And that's what's great. And that's part of figuring out your kind of goals, too. Like, what are your goals for the next year? How are we going to chunk them down, you know? You eat an elephant, one bite at a time? Hopefully you're not eating elephants, though.
Let's hope not.
They're endangered. Anyway, we really hope that you're enjoying this and that you guys are getting value out of this. Again, as caretakers, know that you're not alone, that we're here for you. if you have any questions for either me or Jessica, as this airs, this is going to be airing in mid-January. We are recording this at the end of December, as you can tell from our lovely background. I will be in our membership, and I will be pushing Jessica to join as well to answer questions. Her husband is doing well. When it comes to that kind of trauma and things that he has been through, of course, there are things that he's going through and she is going through. I do have a question before we wrap up. You know, with the trauma of all of this, how are you dealing with the trauma? Are you seeking help? Are we going through trauma therapy? Are we going to seek help in any other way outside of yourself? Are we maybe going to work with a one-on-one coach, wellness coach that might help you through some of this stuff?
I have seen counselors. I've seen pastors. The only thing with counselors for me is I am very faith-based, and I have not found a counselor that can counsel me the way I need it. Mm-hmm. Because I put God first.
Right.
And when somebody's putting trauma first, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I believe that God can heal me. Mm-hmm. And so when I do, go in my prayer closet, that's healing to me.
Yeah.
That's healing to me. And I have a great community around me.
You do.
At the church. And my daughter, she's one of my favorite people to talk to. She's almost 15 now, and
going on 35.
She is wise beyond her years. Sometimes she just blows me away with the wisdom that she's been provided. So that's really how I deal with it, is I talk to my daughter, and we can talk through things pretty easily most of the time. I have my community and my prayer closet. That's what I'm doing right now. Mm-hmm. And I know here at the church I can talk to any of the pastors.
Yeah, you can.
I can have a one-on-one with them. We've got free counseling here, so I am blessed. I know I'm blessed, and I'm grateful for the last 4 years. I mean, I'm grateful for my life, but I've learned a lot, and I think that's what life is about, is learning. Yeah. And when we stop learning, we stop growing. Yeah. When we stop growing, we get stuck.
Yes.
And when we're stuck, our minds, they go down. We get stuck in our negativity. Mm-hmm. And I've felt that before. And there's only one way to get out of it, and that's to change something that you're doing, those small changes. Mm-hmm. So if I leave you guys with anything, is just figure out one small change that you can do every day, and then build on that.
That's a beautiful, beautiful statement.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I forget who, I'm sorry, I'm gonna misquote somebody, but there was I wish I could remember who said this, but they said that 2 years is a great measuring stick. If you were the same person you were 2 years ago, then you're not learning and you're not growing. And I love that statement, because it's so true, and it's such a good statement and measuring stick. I love what you just said too. That is important too when it comes to finding help and therapy and counseling. Whether you're working with a wellness coach like me, or a therapist or counselor or anybody, if they're not the right fit for what you believe or what you're working with or anything like that, whether they're faith-based or wellness-based or anything like that, if they're not the right fit, don't continue. You really want to find someone that fits you and fits what you're working towards and your goals and your values. And I think that is such an important point that Jessica just brought up, because if they aren't treating you to your core values, they're not going to help you in the way that you need to be helped. Which, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, and I will say, to go on the habits, Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
It's an incredible book.
It is an incredible book.
I've listened to it a couple times and read it. And I always go back to it when I feel like I've kind of slipped back into old habits.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, Atomic Habits is an incredible book. I've read it several times as well. A lot of the people here on school and a lot of the different memberships that you can find, they follow Atomic Habits as well. His stuff is just gold. It really is. And again, it's not a 360 or a 180 that you need to make. It's a centimeter. I always think about like the steering wheel, and you're going to make a change. I always just think about like, it's just, you don't need to turn the wheel. It's just, and I always like to add things before I try to remove something, because as humans, again, when we always go to the negative comment or the negative things, it's add something, because we're not good at taking things away from ourselves. When you think of a diet or those yo-yo diets, it's always like, you're not allowed to have this, and we're like, don't push the red button. What's the first thing you're going to do? Push the red button.
Well, although sometimes you do need to let go of things.
You do, yeah, absolutely.
And I'll say, like last night when I was reading my Bible, it talked about the pruning.
Yeah.
Which is
getting rid of
getting rid of things that no longer serve you. But we don't start there, right?
Right.
So it's just like the negativity. We're starting in negativity just to get it out.
Yeah.
But when it's
again,
time
it's
to
like
change
pruning.
things,
when you get it out of you. You get out of, you start in the negativity to get it out of you, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry. I interrupt all the time. Keep going.
No, I'm just saying, like, when bringing habits in, it's better to start with bringing the habits than letting go.
Yeah.
Some people can let go first. Sometimes they can't.
Yeah.
But, you start where you can do it.
Exactly. It's all the lens. She's like, shut up. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you all so much. Please prune if you need to, add if you need to. We're really excited that you're here. I hope you made it through, or if you didn't do the 5-day challenge, it is in the classroom for you. Please go through those. It's a New Year, New You is what it was called when we did it live, but now it is just your vision and goals challenge. Thank you again, and take care of you and take care of your loved ones. Thank you so much.